All right, Teddy Bridgewater rejuvenates his career last year, moving up to number 29 on the Chris Sims quarterback countdown list by virtue of going 5-0. So, players due for a rejuvenation in 2020 is the topic of today's draft. Chris has a two-part trivia question for me. I guess I have to get both parts right in order to get the first pick. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're suggesting?
I guess. I don't know. I didn't make these rules. You're right. What are we going to do if you get one right and one wrong? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Tie goes to me, I guess, is what I would say. Okay, so Louisville is the theme because of Teddy Bridgewater, all right? But name the Louisville quarterback in the Hall of Fame. That's the first part. Let's go there.
Johnny Unitas.
Okay, that was easy. That was almost as easy as what color is blue. Okay,
No,
now,
it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. You wouldn't have known it.
Of course I would have. All right, and then who was the last QB drafted before me in 2003? Can you
Dave
remember?
Ragone
He's
from Louisville.
Thank you.
Dave Ragone.
There you go.
Dave Ragone.
All right, way to go. Good to go. Yep.
I think
All right,
I know
you
the
got
guys
the first
drafted
pick, Slugger.
before you better than you know those guys. I got to go with Cam Newton. It's got to be Cam Newton. I mean, we saw 2 games from him last year when he had no business playing with the injured foot that he suffered in the preseason. We still haven't seen how this new throwing motion that he debuted last year that has kind of gotten forgotten in this haze of what's up with his foot. He's unemployed. He's waiting. And it would be a rejuvenation of his career if he comes back and if he plays. And I think if he does and if he's healthy, we will see a Cam Newton that will make plenty of coaches and general managers and owners say, what the hell were we thinking? Remember, there was a point last year, once it became obvious Lamar Jackson was a great player, there was a report from Jake Glazer. The general managers were scouring over draft notes to see who in the building saw something special in Lamar Jackson and who didn't. There's going to be a lot of people answering some tough questions if Cam Newton comes back and plays the way I think he's going to play. And the questions are going to be, why in the hell did we not sign this guy when we could, Chris? So, and I know look, you can't do a physical. It's a leap of faith. You got to have a plan.
Yeah, I
you don't
gotcha.
want to get burned. But I think at the end of the day, we're going to see Newton play for somebody, and I think he's going to play well. And I suspect he's motivated dramatically to do that.
Well, I would think so. And, I mean, you're right in picking him for a player that's due for a career rejuvenation, But, yeah, I think the big thing is just where does that happen? And I still don't know. And you're right, though. I think that if he does get a chance to get on the field, watch out. He's going to explode because he's got to be pissed off as a competitor right now that he doesn't have a seat at the table. The guy that was the MVP of football just 4 years ago, kind of insane. All right, good pick by you.
And let's just say this. Let me say this.
Yeah.
It's got to be an injury at this point, unless things completely go sideways for the Cowboys and they say enough with Dak Prescott and they rescind the franchise tender, which they've already said they're not going to do. Right? But unless something happens, they don't get a deal done by July 15, they get exasperated, and they say, screw it, we're going to go get Cam Newton. It's got to be an injury. But anyway, go ahead.
Right. No, I agree. And all right, well, while we're talking about injury, I'm going to go with Todd Gurley. I think he's a player due for a career rejuvenation. I have a hard time saying rejuvenation, but I'm going to continue to practice it here. But either way, Gurley, I mean, do I expect him to be the best running back in football? No. Do I expect him to be motivated and better and healthier than where he was last year? And then do I think the Atlanta Falcons will use him more than the Los Angeles Rams because they're a little bit of a team that's desperate too as far as, the head coach and everything like that? But I think Todd Gurley is going to be highly motivated by the fact that the Rams released him. It came out of nowhere. We're all questioning the status of his knee and how good he is. The Rams still haven't paid him his damn money they owe him and all that. That's like a head scratcher to me. I don't understand that. But, I think it's a great fit for Todd Gurley in Atlanta too, because it's an offense that is not going to need him to carry the load on a play-by-play basis. Matt Ryan's still a phenomenal player, and they got good receivers, and they got a good tight end who they traded for in Hayden Hurst. So I think Gurley's got a better support system around him and an offensive line that's honestly better than the Rams too. So I think he's going to show some people this year.
As you practice the term rejuvenation, keep in mind Todd Gurley once leaded the NFL in rushing. So
he did lead it. You're right.
All right, I got to go Matthew Stafford. I thought that's where you would go. Matthew Stafford, after what we saw last year with the broken bones in his back that derailed his season, all the talk about, is he done in Detroit? There was chatter that they were trying to trade him earlier this year. Ultimately, nothing came of that. But there is a sense that this could be it for Matthew Stafford. Selling the house in the Detroit area. Now his wife, Kelly, had an explanation for that. We saw a quarterback sell his house locally in Boston last year, and what did that lead to? So there's a lot of questions about the future of Matthew Stafford. He's only 32. That's spring chicken as far as quarterbacks in today's NFL are concerned. He's got a lot more time to still play in the NFL, and he has compiled a lot of yardage, a lot of touchdowns, just not a lot of victories, not a lot of playoff appearances. But he's due. The Lions are due. Stafford is due. So he's my next pick.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I actually didn't, it's not a bad pick by you. I think there's better ones out there. That's for sure.
All right, then pick one. Pick one.
I am.
Quit stalling.
I want to crap on one of yours for once. You always like to do it to me. Let me do it. Let me enjoy it.
You didn't even think. You have no opportunity to crap on Matthew Stafford because he wasn't even on your radar screen. I know by the way that you articulate the words. I know by your demeanor. You're like, man, I should have thought of Matthew Stafford.
If you listen to me, I already said I didn't have him on my list. Okay, start listening to me and stop texting.
Exactly.
Okay,
I'm not texting.
All right. So here is somebody that is in desperate need of career rejuvenation. Like this is a year, like a career-defining year. Le'Veon Bell, New York Jets. I mean, this is it. Le'Veon Bell, if he doesn't have a good year this year, nobody's going to pay him big money in 2021. I mean, he might have a hard time finding a spot as being a starting running back. But, hey, when you don't play for a year in Pittsburgh and then you come back and with the New York Jets and have a very underwhelming year and the offense isn't good and, just the statistics don't look good either to go along with the play and all of that, this is a huge year for Le'Veon Bell. It is. I mean, come on. We've heard the rumors that the Jets dangled him out there as far as trade bait last offseason. Le'Veon Bell acknowledged that himself. But, yeah, I mean, one, the Jets got to help Le'Veon Bell more. There's no doubt about that. And two, hey, Le'Veon Bell, he's going to have to make some plays this year. And he's going to have to let it be known that he's got a definitive role on this offense. But this is a huge year for Le'Veon Bell in his career.
Well, and I agree with you. Now, I addressed something in a PFT mailbag on Sunday about the way the Jets use Le'Veon Bell, and we don't have time to get into all the details, but here's the bottom line. In Pittsburgh, they had the offense. The running back is the cherry on top of an offense that you already have. The Jets didn't have the offense. They were putting a cherry on top of a pile of something other than ice cream in New York. That's one of the reasons why it didn't work. You got to have the offensive line. You got to have the quarterback. You got to have the receivers. All right, next one for me. I was torn between Jimmy Graham and Eric Ebron. I'm going to go with Eric Ebron because we already saw him kind of rejuvenate once with Indianapolis, and then it fell off last year for whatever reason. I think in Pittsburgh with a healthy Ben Roethlisberger, we're going to see an Eric Ebron that is going to remind us of the guy who had the big year with the Colts and remind us of the guy who got drafted before Aaron Donald and Odell Beckham Jr., Chris.
Well, I mean, it certainly was a fall off last year as compared to what he had done the year before in Indianapolis in the statistical year. He's in a spot where, hey, the quarterback, he likes to stand in the pocket and throw the ball down the middle of the field. So Eric Ebron should get a lot of touches in this Pittsburgh offense. There's no doubt. Honestly, when I first heard you say Pittsburgh, I thought you were going to go with Juju Smith-Schuster too, because I think he's a guy that you could probably throw in this draft. He's on my list. I'm not going to pick them because I think there's ones that are better, but hey, we could put Big Ben, Eric Ebron, and Juju Smith-Schuster in there for career rejuvenation. I'm going to go with my last pick to seal the deal here for the win for the best draft of career rejuvenations, David Johnson. David Johnson, he needs to rejuvenate his career for his sake, for Billy O'Brien's sake, for Deshaun Watson's sake. But, of course, there was a lot of scrutiny. Trading DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, what the hell has he done the last few years? Yeah, it wasn't a good year last year. He's been banged up a lot over the last few years. So he is going to have a microscope on him this year in Houston. And he better have a definitive role as far as running the football and catching the ball out of the backfield, or they're going to be scrutinized and people are going to talk crap about Billy O'Brien, the GM, and everything about it, and they're going to write David Johnson off. So this is a huge year for him, and I think he's in an offense and has a team around him to really help him succeed.
whatever he does this year, what a coup for the Cardinals to unload the guaranteed salary for 2020 that they were not getting out of, to include him in the package for DeAndre Hopkins and to emerge with Hopkins and get rid of a guy that they just didn't want. They had already committed to Kenyon Drake. It's amazing to me that they were able to avoid that. I thought they were going to have to do one of those trades where you send the contract and you have to send a draft pick, like the Brock Osweiler deal, to unload David Johnson. So good for the Cardinals and good for David Johnson if he turns it around.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.